Hello everyone, today our group's topic is Australia 2015 Asia Cup, and today our group is going to introducing you how Australia use Asia Cup to attract Chinese tourists. And our group will have 4 members, Xiaoxing, Nisha, Shiyu, and me. For this presentation, we will introducing you about 6 parts. Firstly, I will introducing the background of 2015 Australia Asia Cup. Then the case review about other sporting events will also explained. Then the target market for this presentation is specifically focused on the Chinese travelers. And then we will introducing the Australia Asia Cup tourism objectives and the strategies, as well as stakeholders. Lastly, we will also talk about the specific strategies and for these objectives and evaluation methods for these objectives. Then we will give a brief summary at the last. The 2015 Australia Asia Cup was the 16th edition of the AFC Asia Cup. It is an international football tournament organized by the Asia Football Confederation. The tournament was kicked off in Melbourne on the 9th January and finished on the 31st January this year in Sydney. 16 countries with 32 matches have been played in 23 days across 5 host cities in Australia, including Brisbane, Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne, and Newcastle. Well, this slide shows the overall vision of the 2015 Australia Asia Cup. Since all our tourism objectives and strategies introduced later on are all created based on this overall vision and their tourism objectives. For this presentation, in order to have some ideas to generate our own strategies, we have searched some literature about how other cities use sporting events to leverage their tourism development. The first case is how Barcelona used the 1992 Olympic Games to leverage tourism, as Barcelona has successfully transformed the city as a popular tourist destination. For example, at pre-event time, by understanding different markets' preference, they were conducted different promotions and marketing campaigns for each market segment. And during event, more shops were opened and trading hours were extended to increase tourist spending. And for long-term event legacy, they have created Barcelona sports program to attracting more sport events and tourists.
The case shows that after the 2004 Olympics, Athens has capitalized on its Olympic legacy and rich heritage assets by implementing synergistic cross-leverage strategies aimed at optimizing sport-related and cultural-related tourism benefits. There are 4 strategies that can effectively encompass the manifold dimensions of Olympic heritage while enriching the city's tourism product by integrating its sport and cultural tourism offerings. Specifically, they are build the city's tourism product and service mix, build partnerships between the public and private sectors, use media and government interventions and supports.
For this presentation, we have chosen the Chinese travelers specifically as our target market. That's due to several reasons. In 2014, China was Australia's second largest inbound market for visitor arrivals and the largest market for total visitor expenditure. As the statistics shows, there are over 800,000 visitor arrivals and totally 5.7 billion visitor expenditure in 2014. And according to the research from Tourism Australia, the Chinese inbound tourism market has the potential to contribute up to $9 billion annually to the Australian economy by 2020. And moreover, there are 71% total arrivals are for leisure purpose. And based on the Tourism Australia, there are the most preferred Australian experiences for Chinese travelers, including the aquatic wildlife and non-aquatic wildlife, and followed by the coastal scenery experiences and diving, food and wine experiences, reinforced outback city experiences, as well as shopping. And for the most popular Australian attractions for Chinese travelers, including the Sydney Opera House, Great Barrier Reef, Sydney Harbour Bridge, Blue Mountains National Park, and etc.
To effectively target the China market, Australia should use the opportunities for tourism as a result of the 2015 Asia Cup. To achieve this, the main thing is to encourage Chinese people to come to Australia for the Asian Cup and then enhance their tourism experience and spending during their stay in Australia. To leverage this event for greater benefits in longer term, we want to brand Australia as a high-profile tourism destination and support country so that people will get to know Australia and then will want to come back in the future. Yes, therefore, as far as tourism goes, we will leave Australia a lasting tourism legacy. We have created some different strategies to achieve this purpose by cooperating with some key different.
Our first strategy is provide multiple tourism products and packages. According to the time schedule showing on AFC Asian Cup 2015 website, China football team have 3 battles in Brisbane and 1 battle in Sydney. Based on that situation, the marketing plan we made is at center of Brisbane and Sydney and managerial benefits broadly. Since more and more Chinese tourists choose to travel individually overseas in recent years, our target market will be divided into 3 parts. The first target market is middle to high income young sport lover aged between 28 to 35. Those young people who has great passionate about sport competition and have great wishes to participate in activities and look forward to see a real world Australia. Besides, international Chinese students in Australia is another target market. According to the research that 20.7% of the international students in Australia, around 70,000 people, come from China. Those students have better language skills, and the iconic attractions, natural-based activities, and photography are particularly attractive to this market. Although individual travelers is a new trend in Australia, but due to the concern about the language and visa, group visitors is still the most Chinese choice in outbound tourism. The group travelers may also wish to enhance their trip experience with participating in Asian Cup battle. To satisfy the needs of all of those different target markets, different tourism products and packages should be built by cooperate with Ctrip. So who is Ctrip? Why we need to cooperate with them? Ctrip is the leading online and mobile travel platform in China and have 17 branch offices in Beijing, Guangzhou, and other major cities. Ctrip have a great device of customer service, including hotel reservations, flight tickets, car renting, package tour, and destination guides to deliver excellent customer services. Also, people can check latest package and other information on Ctrip app. Ctrip is trusted by 60 million members, and they own the biggest network, which includes over 18 packaged hotels and 2,000 China flight routes. There are totally over 900 packaged hotels in Sydney and Brisbane. Moreover, with the most popular social platform Weibo, Ctrip have 448 million followers. Therefore, Ctrip is a great wholesaler to promote and sell the package and have the ability to maximize tour packages exposure to potential Chinese market. Different tourism products and packages will be provided on Ctrip with AFC Asian Cup arrangement to satisfy the needs and wants of different target markets. Of course, it will be very convenient for group travelers to join a tourism group to visit Australia and enjoying an Asian Cup experience as well. For the individual travelers, some short line like 3 to 4 days tourism packages, which are focused on tourism attractions not far from the host cities, will also be provided on Ctrip. For example, after tourists watching the games in Brisbane, they could buy a package of Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, or even Cairns to have a visit. Besides, those packages would also be themed by sport tourism packages, adventure tourism packages, wildlife visiting packages, and iconic attraction visiting packages to satisfy different target markets. In addition, Ctrip could also provide ticketing and car renting service to satisfy the specific needs of individual travelers. Secondly, according to the report of World Tourism Cities Foundation 2014, about 78% Chinese believe language is a large barrier for outbound Chinese tourists. And the most expected publication channel for Chinese overseas tourists is to set up a Chinese version of the tourism official website. And most of the Chinese used to do a lot of research about their tourism destination and tourism attractions on the internet before their travel, so that tourism department official website and all of the relevant tourism attractions website should be built a Chinese version based on the current situation. What's more, an Asian Cup official app with Chinese version should also be established to public both competition. What is more, an Asian Cup official app with Chinese version should also be established to public both competition and tourism information during the event. Moreover, due to the specific limitation of China, Chinese do not use Facebook or Twitter, so that set up official account on Chinese social media, such as Weibo and WeChat, could also be considered as an efficient way to marketing and get feedbacks for tourism attractions. So why we choose WeChat? WeChat is one of China's largest social networks, supporting multiple languages and sharing more than 350 million active users in China, with 549 million active users per month and estimated 70 million users overseas as well. Similar with well-known Western application WhatsApp, this app is exclusively developed for smartphones, and it has multifunctional nature linked to many web services.
Undeniably, mega marketing is very powerful to promote this event and to market Australia as a tourist destination. As such, we have three initiatives. The Happy Camp in Australia is the first project launched by Tourism Australia to use the support of Chinese celebrities to promote Australia's tourism to Chinese consumers. The Happy Camp, one of China's most popular shows, will film two specials in Australia, wherein the famous cast will join with the Chinese and Australian football players to play in a Football Miss China friendly match in Melbourne, and with the cast will visit some local football communities and schools, as well as showcase some of Australia's best tourism attractions with beautiful scenery and landmarks as a backdrop. In this project, the Tourism Australia will partner with the Victoria Tourism Events, Queensland, and Hunan Broadcasting systems. We chose Happy Camp because of its fantastic popularity throughout China. It has about 9 million followers on Weibo. China's social media can be quite influential, so Tourism Australia will launch two social media campaigns on China's microblogging website Weibo before, during, and after the event, running from January the 1st to February the 15th. The two campaigns will showcase Australia's food and culture through different articles, stories, and infographics around destinations that will host the matches. To help the hashtag lotteries will open to the Chinese, and winners will receive the flight tickets to Australia that's sponsored by the partner China Southern Airlines. In the longer term, we will repack the content generated during the event into short articles on WeChat in order to provide much more depth information for the destinations. China will be a very the best platform to do this because it is a Twitter-like microblog service with currently about 200 million active users per month, with more than 100 million messages posted every day. It is also one of the digital environments where hashtags are better integrated and throughout all its evolutions. By doing so, we can effectively make the event as a hot topic and keep Australia buzzing among Chinese public.
Finally, the brand ambassador is a lasting project by Tourism Australia enlisting the support of Chinese sport celebrities. The famous football player Wang Dalei will film an Asian football special to promote the cup event, and the three famous Chinese sport stars Sun Yang, Ning Zetao, and Li Na will film series projects to promote the Australian tourism after the event. By doing so, we can build intersectoral linkages between the sport and cultural tourism, and therefore use the post-event access for sport and cultural tourism in Australia.
The third strategy can be shaping a new tourism profile and sport culture image of Australia in the post-event stage. Firstly, the focus on key experiences of Australian tourism considers not only what products are, but also what they mean to the tourists. We could emphasize a dazzling array of unique Australian experiences in order to retain and appeal to more Chinese travelers, like not only Aussie coastal lifestyle or Australian major cities, which they have already known, but also food and wine, outback Australia, Aboriginal Australia, Australian journeys, and nature in Australia. Furthermore, we could launch various advertising campaigns via different media to enhance and broaden Chinese travelers' experiences. There is a great example of an Australian tourism advertising campaign attempting to take advantage of the international exposure, which is the movie Australia. It created an extraordinary image of the Australian identity relating to the tourism. Tourism Western Australia spent $1 million on a campaign linked with the release of this movie in the United States, Canada, Japan, South Korea, and Europe that ties in with an international tourism Australian plan. Therefore, we could focus on Chinese travelers with effective advertising campaigns to accomplish our tourism objectives. Moreover, we should enhance the image of sport culture destination by attracting more sport events. There have already been some great sport events like Australian Open Tennis, Spring Racing Carnival, New South Wales Open Golf Championship, and so on. However, We still need to seize every opportunity to hold more small sport events which are approachable to the broad masses in order to improve the image of Australia on sport culture destination.
As for the evaluation, firstly, calculate number of clicks of relevant Chinese version website, download number of official Asian Cup app, sales of the tourism packages on Ctrip. Secondly, regular research on awareness and the perceptions of Chinese market of the Australia tourism through reviews of feedbacks on social medias. Thirdly, media exposure, coverage, and viewership data could also be collected to see the.
In summary, our group introduced 2015 Australia Asian Cup as well as reviewed Barcelona and Athens, how Olympic Games were utilized to leverage tourism. In addition, we gave several specific strategies and evaluations based on the Chinese travelers as the target market, involving how to achieve the objective that using 2015 Asian Cup can promote Australia as a tourism destination for Chinese people.